Your work is amateur. I fixed it for everyone's sake. I still hear those words. They replay in my head when I'm trying to sleep, when I'm making breakfast, when I'm walking to my apartment. Darren said them like he was doing me a favor, like I should thank him. It was a Tuesday. Morning started normal. I woke up at 6, showered, ate toast, standing by the window. My presentation was ready. 3 years of work compressed into 40 slides. Every feature tested, every number verified. The communication tool I'd built wasn't flashy, but it worked. Teams could coordinate faster, fewer delays, better clarity, simple stuff that mattered. The investor meeting was at 2 in the afternoon. I'd checked everything the night before. File worked perfectly, transitions smooth, data loaded fast. I even practiced in front of my bathroom mirror twice. Felt silly doing it, but I wanted this perfect. When I got to the office at 8, Darren was already there. He usually came in around 10, so seeing him early surprised me. He had his headphones on, typing something, energy drink next to his keyboard. I waved. He nodded back. "Big day," he said, pulling one headphone off. "You nervous?" "A little," I admitted. "Don't be. You've got this. Just let me run a quick compatibility check on your file around noon. Make sure it plays nice with the projector setup. Last thing you need is tech issues during the pitch." That made sense. Darren had been with the company for 7 years. He knew the equipment, knew the investors, knew everything I didn't. When I joined straight out of college, he was the one who showed me around, explained how things worked, introduced me to people, shared his lunch when I forgot mine the first week. My name is Lena, 25 years old, first real job, no safety net, no family money, just me and my education, and this tool I'd built because I believed it could help people. Darren wasn't just my senior, he was my mentor, the person I asked when I didn't understand office politics, when I wasn't sure how to phrase an important message, when I needed advice about anything. He answered every question, never made me feel stupid, always patient. "Thanks," I told him that morning. "I'll send you the file before noon." "Perfect. I'll have it ready for you." I went to my workspace, answered some messages, fixed a minor bug someone reported. The morning moved slowly. Every time I glanced at the clock, only 5 minutes had passed. Finally, 11:30 arrived. I sent Darren the presentation file through our internal transfer portal. He replied 2 minutes later. "Got it. Running checks now. Go grab lunch. Relax." I wasn't hungry, but I went to the pantry anyway, made tea, tried to calm down. My hands were shaking a bit, not from fear exactly, more like anticipation. This meeting could change everything. The investors funded big projects. If they liked what I built, I could expand it, hire people, make something that actually mattered. At 1:15, I headed to the main meeting room. Needed to set up early, test the sound, make sure everything connected properly. The door was locked. I tried my access card. Red light. Tried again. Still red. Weird. I went looking for Darren. Found him in the break area, pouring coffee. "Hey, the meeting room isn't opening for me." "Oh, yeah. They changed access permissions this morning. Some security update. I've got clearance, though." We walked together. He swiped his card. Green light. Door opened. The room was ready. Projector on. Chairs arranged. Water bottles set out. Everything looked professional. "Let me just pull up your file," Darren said, going to the connected laptop. He clicked around, frowned, clicked more. His frown deepened. "What's wrong?" I asked. Hang on." More clicking. Then he stopped, leaned back, looked at me. "So, there's a situation." My stomach tightened. "What situation?" "Your file had some compatibility issues. I tried converting it, but something went wrong. The original got overwritten." I didn't understand at first. "Overwritten?" "Yeah. During the network optimization process. It's gone." "Gone?" My voice came out weird, too high. "What do you mean, gone?" "I mean it's not there anymore. I was trying to help and the process corrupted it. Technical glitch." He shrugged. Actually shrugged. "Do you have another version?" 3 years of work, stored in one place because our company policy required everything on the internal server. No external drives allowed. "Security risk," they said. I'd followed the rules. "No," I whispered. "That was the only version." "Seriously? Lena, you should always maintain multiple versions. Didn't they teach you that in school?" "They did, but I'd trusted the company server, trusted the process, trusted him. Can't you restore it? There must be a way. I tried. The optimization overrode it at the core level. It's gone. He checked his watch. Investors arrive in 30 minutes. We need to tell management this meeting isn't happening. Wait, no, we can't cancel. They're coming specifically for this. Darren sighed, rubbed his forehead like I was stressing him out. Then what do you want to do? You can't present nothing. My brain wasn't working. Panic does that. Shuts down logic, makes everything feel impossible. I'd spent 3 years building this tool, testing it, improving it. Now I had 30 minutes and nothing to show. I could talk through it without slides. These investors don't do casual conversations. They need data, projections, interface demonstrations. You know this. I did know this. But what choice did I have? Your work is amateur. I fixed it for everyone's sake. That's when he said it. Standing there with his coffee, looking at me like I was a child who'd broken something valuable. What? Your presentation. I saw it when I opened the file. It was amateur, too technical, too detailed. Investors don't care about every single feature. They care about money, growth, return on investment. So I fixed it, made it cleaner, more focused. But then the glitch happened, and now we have nothing. He fixed it. He'd opened my file and decided it wasn't good enough, decided to change it without asking me, without telling me, and then deleted everything. You changed my presentation? I was trying to help you. You're new. You don't know how these things work yet. I've done a dozen of these pitches. I know what investors want. Something inside me went very quiet, very still. The panic stopped, replaced by something else, something I couldn't name yet. So what do we do now? I asked. My voice sounded normal, calm even. Darren thought for a moment. I actually have a presentation template I use for product demos. Basic structure. I could adapt it quickly, fill in what I remember about your tool. Won't be as detailed, but it'll give investors something to look at. Better than nothing. You do that? Of course. We're a team. Your success is my success. He smiled, friendly, reassuring. The same smile he'd given me 100 times before. Go splash some water on your face. Breathe. I'll handle this. When investors arrive, just follow my lead. Answer their technical questions if they ask. But let me drive the presentation. Okay? What else could I say? The meeting was in 25 minutes. My work was gone. He was offering a solution. Okay. I left the room, went to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, tried to understand what just happened, but there wasn't time to process, wasn't time to think. I splashed water on my face like he suggested, dried it, walked back. The investors arrived at exactly 2 o'clock. 4 people in business clothes, handshakes, introductions, small talk about traffic and weather. Then we all sat down. Darren started the presentation. His slides were basic, simple graphics, bullet points. He talked about remote team coordination like it was a brand new concept he'd just invented. Mentioned features I'd built, but described them in vague terms. Streamlined communication pathways, integrated task visibility, corporate language that sounded impressive, but meant nothing specific. The investors listened, took notes, asked questions. How does the interface handle multiple time zones? One of them asked. Darren looked at me. Lena can answer that. She handled the technical build. I explained the feature. Automatic time zone conversion, user preferences, notification scheduling. The investor nodded, wrote something down. Another question came. What's your user acquisition strategy? Darren jumped back in, talked about market penetration, growth curves, partnerships, things we'd never actually discussed, things he was inventing on the spot, but he sounded confident. Sure, like he'd planned all of this for months. The presentation lasted 40 minutes. When it ended, the investors thanked us, said they'd discuss internally and get back to us. Standard response. Impossible to read? After they left, Darren turned to me. That went well. You did good answering those technical questions. Thanks. Listen, about your file. I'm really sorry. I should have been more careful with the optimization process. But hey, we pulled through, right? Team effort. Team effort. He kept saying that, like we'd both contributed equally, like he hadn't deleted 3 years of my work and then presented his own watered-down version. Right, I said. I went back to my workspace, sat there, stared at my monitor, didn't really see anything, just kept replaying the meeting in my head. His presentation, his words, his confidence. 3 days later, management called us both in. The investors had agreed to fund the next development phase. 2 million. Darren would lead the expansion. I'd continue as a developer on the team, reporting to him. Congratulations, our director said. Great work, both of you. Darren shook hands, smiled, accepted praise. I stood there and nodded when appropriate. After the meeting, Darren caught up with me in the hallway. Hey, you okay? You seem quiet. Just tired. I get it. Big week. Listen, I know the presentation thing was messy, but it worked out, and you'll learn from this. Next time, triple back up your work. Keep versions in multiple places. Break the rules if you have to. Better safe than sorry. He said it like he was teaching me something valuable, like the lesson mattered more than what happened, like I should be grateful. You're right, I said. I'll remember that. The months that followed were strange. The project expanded. More developers joined. Darren ran meetings, made decisions, took interviews with tech blogs about his vision for workplace communication tools. Every article mentioned his name. Some mentioned the team. None mentioned me specifically. I kept building, added features, fixed problems, did my job. People around the office started treating Darren differently. More respect, more deference. He was the guy who landed a 2 million investment, the guy with vision. He was nice to me, always nice. Checked in on my progress, brought me coffee sometimes, asked if I needed anything. The perfect mentor, the helpful senior colleague. I smiled, said, thank you, kept working. 4 months after the investor meeting, something interesting happened. One of the investors reached out to me directly, not through company channels, personal message to my private account. Hi, Lena. We were impressed with your technical knowledge during the presentation. Would you be open to a conversation about future opportunities? I stared at that message for a long time. Read it 5 times. Check the sender. Legitimate. One of the 4 people who'd been in that meeting room. I replied, sure. I'd be interested in hearing more. We set up a call. The following week, 30 minutes. Just a casual conversation, they said. Except it wasn't casual. They were opening a new division, different city, focused entirely on communication tools for distributed teams. They needed someone to lead development, someone who understood the technical side, someone who could build from the ground up. We remember your answers during the pitch, the investor said. You knew every detail, every feature. That kind of knowledge doesn't come from managing. It comes from building. Thank you. We looked into the project history, saw your name on most of the development commits. You built that tool, didn't you? Not Darren. I didn't answer immediately. The silence stretched. It's okay, they continued. We've seen this before. Junior developer does the work. Senior person presents it. Tale as old as time. But we're not interested in presenters. We're interested in builders. So, would you consider joining us? My heart was beating fast, loud. I could hear it in my ears. What would the role involve? They explained. Lead developer, product direction, team building, competitive salary, equity, full creative control. Everything I'd wanted when I first built my tool. Everything that got taken from me. I'm very interested, I said. Great. We'll send over details. Take your time reviewing. No pressure. But here's the thing. When they sent the details, I didn't just review them. I thought about Darren, about his face when he shrugged and said, technical glitch, about his presentation, about every article that mentioned his vision, about team effort, and you'll learn from this. I thought about all of that, and then I asked for another call. I want to accept, I told them, but I need to ask for something first. Something unusual. What is it? There's going to be a promotion available at my current company soon. Vice president level. I need you to make sure Darren gets it. Make noise about the investment success. Credit him publicly. Make it big enough that the company has to promote him. Silence on the other end. Then, why would you want that? Because I need him locked in. Promoted people sign new contracts. Longer terms. Higher penalties for leaving. I need him committed to staying. More silence. Then a laugh. Quiet. Surprised. You're thinking. Long term. I learned from the best. He taught me to plan ahead. All right, we can make that happen. Our investment gives us influence. We can push for leadership changes, suggest promotions. It'll take a couple months, but we can do it. Thank you. And then you'll join us? The day after his promotion becomes official. They agreed. We worked out details over the next few weeks. Contract terms, start date, everything contingent on Darren's promotion happening first. They thought it was brilliant. Poetic justice, one of them called it. I just called it planning. 2 months later, the company announced organizational changes, new roles, strategic promotions. Darren was named Vice President of Product Development. Big celebration, champagne in the main area, speeches about innovation and leadership and vision. Everyone congratulated him, shook his hand, took photos. He gave a speech about teamwork and dedication and never giving up on your ideas. I stood in the back, holding champagne I wasn't drinking, watching him smile, watching him accept praise. When he saw me, he raised his glass. I raised mine back, smiled, clapped when everyone else clapped. He came over afterward. Thank you for all your work on the project. Couldn't have done it without the team. Congratulations, I said. You deserve it. Big changes ahead. New 3-year contract. Committed to really building something here. It's exciting. 3 years. Locked in. Exactly what I needed. That's wonderful, I told him. Really wonderful. Really wonderful. The party lasted 2 hours. Music, food, more speeches. I left early. Said I wasn't feeling well. Darren told me to rest up. Big projects coming. He'd need everyone at full energy. I went home, sat on my bed, looked at the contract on my laptop, the one from the investors, signed and ready, just waiting for the right moment. That moment came 1 week later, Thursday morning. The investors made their announcement. New division, new city, major expansion into communication tools for distributed teams, and leading development, Lena, named specifically, mentioned as the talented developer who initially conceptualized this approach during our first meeting. The announcement went everywhere. Tech news sites, industry blogs, social feeds, my name, my role, my tool. Messages started coming in. Congratulations from old classmates, questions from colleagues, confusion from people at my company who didn't understand what was happening. And then, 20 minutes after the announcement, a message from Darren. Congratulations on the new role. Exciting opportunity. 6 words. Professional, tight, no enthusiasm, no warmth, just 6 words that said everything he couldn't actually say. I replied simply, thank you. Learned a lot here. He didn't respond. I gave my 2 weeks notice that afternoon. Management was shocked. Tried to counter-offer. I declined politely. This opportunity was too good to pass up, I explained. Nothing personal. Just career growth. Darren avoided me during those 2 weeks. We'd pass in hallways. He'd nod. Keep walking. No coffee. No check-ins. No friendly mentor advice. On my last day, I packed my things. Said goodbye to colleagues. HR processed my exit paperwork. As I was leaving, I saw Darren in the main workspace. He was looking at something on his monitor. Probably the latest article about the new division. About me. About the tool I'd built that was finally getting proper recognition. He glanced up. Our eyes met for just a second. In that second, I saw it. Understanding. He knew. He'd figured out what I'd done, how I'd planned it, how his promotion wasn't a reward but a cage. I didn't smile, didn't gloat, just picked up my box and walked out. 3 years. That's how long he'd be stuck there. Watching announcements about the new division, reading articles about innovative features, seeing my name attached to everything he'd tried to take. The new city felt different. Cleaner air, wider streets. My apartment was smaller than my old one, but it had better light. I could see sunrise from the bedroom window. Work started immediately. The investors had secured office space, hired initial staff, set up infrastructure. My job was to rebuild the communication tool, properly this time, with full resources, full support, full credit. First week was orientation, meeting people, understanding workflows, learning the new environment. Second week, I started actual development, pulled up my original designs, the ones that existed only in my head now since Darren had deleted everything. But I remembered every feature, every function, every detail. Turns out, keeping everything in your brain has advantages. Nobody can delete your thoughts. Nobody can overwrite your memory. I rebuilt from scratch. Better than before. Cleaner code, smarter functions, 3 years of development, condensed and improved. The team I worked with was small, 8 people initially, all of them good at their jobs, all of them respectful. When I explained something, they listened. When I made decisions, they implemented them. Nobody questioned whether I knew what I was doing. Nobody talked over me in meetings. It felt strange at first. Being heard, being trusted. I kept waiting for someone to undermine me, to take over, to explain things I already understood, but it didn't happen. My direct report was a guy named Callum, 15 years of experience, could have easily been competitive or dismissive of a younger lead. Instead, he asked good questions, offered useful suggestions, respected boundaries. After 2 weeks, I asked him why. Why are you so easy to work with? He laughed. Because I'm here to build things, not play politics. You know what you're doing. Why would I make that harder? Simple answer. Obvious answer. But I'd never experienced it before. Months passed. The tool took shape. We added features I'd only dreamed about in my old job. Real-time translation for international teams. Adaptive interfaces for different work styles. Integration capabilities that actually functioned smoothly. Every 2 weeks, we had progress meetings with the investors. They'd review development, ask questions, approve next phases. In those meetings, they always addressed me, not Callum, not the senior developers, me, because I was leading this. How are you finding the transition? One investor asked after a 3-month review. Good, really good. No regrets about leaving your old company? I thought about Darren, about his locked contract, about the promotion he probably didn't enjoy anymore. None. Good, because we're accelerating timeline. We want to launch in 6 months instead of 9. Can you deliver? 6 months. Aggressive timeline would mean longer hours, more pressure, but also faster results, faster proof that this tool worked, faster validation that I'd built something real. Yes, we can deliver. Callum didn't even hesitate when I told the team. Let's do it. I'll restructure sprints. We can make this work. We did make it work. Nights got longer. Weekends disappeared. But it wasn't the same as my old job. There, I worked late because I was alone. Here, the whole team worked late together. Callum brought food. Others shared music. Someone always made fresh tea around midnight. It felt collaborative, shared purpose. 5 months in, we had a working product. Full features. Tested. Debugged. Ready for beta launch. The investors scheduled a demonstration. Invited potential clients. Business journalists. Industry analysts. This time, I built the presentation myself. Nobody touched it. Nobody optimized it. Nobody deleted it. I kept multiple versions, sure, but mainly because it was smart practice. Not because I was afraid. The demonstration was on a Wednesday. 70 people in attendance. Much bigger than that first investor meeting at my old company. I should have been nervous. Should have felt that same panic from before. But I didn't. This was my work. My tool. My presentation. Nobody could take it from me because everyone already knew it was mine. My name was on everything. The invitations. The announcements. The product description. I presented for 90 minutes. Showed every feature. Explained every function. Answered every question. When it ended, people clapped. Actual applause. Several potential clients approached immediately. Wanted pricing information. Implementation timelines. Partnership discussions. The investors were thrilled. This is exactly what we hoped for. Better, actually. You've exceeded projections. One of them pulled me aside. You know Darren has reached out to us 3 times now, asking about opportunities. Wants to know if we're hiring for senior positions. My stomach tightened. What did you tell him? That we're fully staffed in leadership, which is true. We have you. Don't need anyone else. They paused. He sounded frustrated. Asked how much longer his contract runs. We didn't answer that, obviously. Not our business, but it was satisfying to hear. I should have felt happy, vindicated, but mostly I felt tired. Darren was still there, still stuck, still watching from a distance while I built what he'd tried to steal. Before I continue, I want to say thank you for listening this far. Your support means everything. Stories like mine need to be heard, so others know they're not alone when workplace betrayal happens. Now, back to what happened next. Launch day came 6 months after I'd started. We went live globally, announced partnerships, opened registration. The response was immediate. Hundreds of signups in the first hour. thousands by end of day. Tech journalists wrote reviews, positive reviews. They mentioned the intuitive interface, the practical features, the clear improvement over existing tools. Several articles mentioned my background. Former developer at mid-sized tech company, now leading innovation in distributed team communication. One journalist did deep research, found my name in the original project commits from my old company, connected the dots. Their article was titled, "When Companies Lose Talent by Misattributing Success." It detailed my original tool, Darren's presentation, the investor meeting, my departure, the new venture, everything. That article went viral, got shared thousands of times, sparked discussions about credit and recognition and who actually builds versus who presents. My old company issued a statement. Professional, generic. We're proud of all our former employees and wish them success in future endeavors. Darren didn't say anything publicly, but I heard through mutual contacts that he'd tried to discredit the article, called it speculation, said the original tool was collaborative effort. Nobody listened. The commit history didn't lie. My name was on 90% of the development work. Year 1 ended with 200,000 active users, 15 major corporate clients, positive revenue. The investors were already discussing expansion, more features, more markets, more growth. I hired 20 additional team members. Callum became operations director. We moved to bigger office space. Everything was scaling exactly how it should. And through all of it, I kept track of time. Month 12, month 18, month 24, counting down Darren's contract, watching his 3-year commitment tick away while I built everything he'd wanted for himself. Year 2 brought more success. We crossed 500,000 users, won industry awards, got featured in major business publications. I did interviews, spoke at conferences, represented the tool I'd created. Sometimes interviewers asked about my previous job. I answered honestly, but briefly. I learned a lot there. It prepared me for this. Never mentioned Darren by name. Never detailed what happened. Didn't need to. The journalist's article had done that already. Month 30. Month 32. Month 34. His contract had to be ending soon. I didn't know the exact date. Didn't need to. Just knew it was coming. Month 36 arrived on a Tuesday. 3 full years since his promotion. I was in a strategy meeting when my personal messages buzzed. I ignored it. Stayed focused on quarterly projections. After the meeting, I checked. Message from an unknown number. "This is Darren. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need to say something. What you built is remarkable. What I did was wrong. I justified it at the time by telling myself I was helping, that you didn't understand how to present to investors, that my experience mattered more than your work. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. Just wanted you to know, I understand what I took from you. And I'm genuinely impressed by what you've accomplished despite that. I hope you continue succeeding." I read it 3 times, looked for hidden angles, manipulation, excuses buried in apologies, but it seemed straightforward. Simple admission, no justification beyond acknowledging his own justification was wrong. I sat with it for a day, thought about responding, thought about what I'd say, thought about whether saying anything mattered. Finally, I replied, "Thank you for the message. I appreciate the acknowledgement. I hope you find your next opportunity fulfilling." Short, professional, final. He didn't respond. I didn't expect him to. 2 weeks later, I saw his announcement. New job, different company, smaller role than vice president, senior project manager, lateral move at best, maybe even a step down. But he was out, free from the contract, free to move forward. Good for him, I thought, and meant it. Not because I forgave everything, but because carrying anger was exhausting. I'd gotten what I needed: success, recognition, proof that my work mattered. His career trajectory wasn't my concern anymore. Year 3 brought acquisition offers. Larger companies wanted to buy us, integrate our tool into their platforms. The investors brought me every offer, asked my opinion, explained I had final say. We declined most, accepted one, the right one. Company that valued our independence, wanted us to keep building, keep innovating. The acquisition meant resources, reach, stability, and I stayed on as director. Keep leading development, keep making decisions. The deal closed on a Friday. Financial security beyond anything I'd imagined when I graduated college. beyond anything I dreamed when I was building that first version in my old job. Callum organized a celebration, small gathering, just our core team, people who'd been there from the beginning. We didn't do champagne or speeches, just pizza and appreciation. You did it, Callum said. Took an idea and turned it into something permanent. We did it, I corrected. Wasn't just me. No, but it started with you. Your vision, your work. Don't diminish that. He was right. It did start with me. In a small workspace, at a company that didn't value what I built. With a mentor who betrayed my trust. With a presentation that got deleted and dreams that got stolen. But it didn't end there. That was the difference. Darren thought deleting my presentation deleted my capability. Thought taking credit erased my contribution. Thought his experience mattered more than my innovation. He was wrong. You can delete files. Can't delete knowledge. Can't delete skill. Can't delete the ability to rebuild better than before. I went home that night, sat by my window, watched the city lights, thought about the past 3 years, everything that happened, everything I'd learned. Darren taught me to triple back up my work, but what I really learned was to quadruple back up my future, to plan further ahead, to think strategically, to turn betrayal into motivation instead of defeat. His lesson, my application, his loss, my gain. And honestly, I hope he's doing okay now. Hope he learned something too. Hope he never does to someone else what he did to me. But even if he didn't learn, even if he's still the same person making the same choices, it doesn't affect me anymore. I'm building tools that help people, leading teams that respect collaboration, creating things that matter. That's enough. That's everything. Before I finish, I want to ask something. If this story resonated with you, if you've experienced something similar or know someone who has, leave a comment below. Share where you're listening from. Your support helps these stories reach people who need to hear them. And if you haven't already, please like this and subscribe. There are more stories to tell, more experiences to share. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening.